Hello, everyone. My name is Samantha Sundborg, and this is my second screencast, so bear with me. I'm still trying to figure out the whole screencast deal here, but it's not the best setup, but it will do for now. So, my observation location, I am up in East Birch Hill, and this is where I've been observing from, and where I observed from those 5 days back in February. And so I did those through the 6th all the way through the 10th of February. So those 5 days. And typically it was always in the evening. I would say the latest I did it was around 8:30. And sometimes it would be early, like 6 o'clock. So within those times. The observation that I'm comparing it with is the National Weather Station here, which is Fairbanks Airport, is the one I'm going to be comparing to. So if we take a look here, oops, let's do that. All right. So one thing that I noticed here, we have the air temperature, and you can kind of see that it's still on. Some of them are they somewhat follow the pattern. They obviously have a more distinct pattern here, but you can still kind of see them go up and come back down a little bit. And I would say mine are not going to be the most consistent, and I say that because I just had some issues with it that week. I know, not issues necessarily, it's just kind of getting the hang of it. So I know that can play a factor into being accurate and whatnot. But I was actually surprised at how close it was in comparison to their data here. And I would say, moving on to the barometric pressure, that was the most surprising one for me. And I was kind of able to make sense of this by realizing, well, for one, this is being taken, you can see their line and measurements here is theirs, and this is my measurements. So one thing to consider is I'm all the way up at the top of Birch Hill, and they are taking this all the way down at the airport. So our pressure is going to be a lot different. And it's not like a drastic change necessarily, but there's going to be some difference in there. And I noticed that, but it was interesting to see even that you can still tell that it still kind of, it still stayed on track of that type of graph. As you can see here, here it goes up a little bit slowly, and then it shoots up, and then it comes back down. There's goes back up and comes back down. And my measurements, they kind of stay the same here, and then they go up, and then they come back down. So it kind of fits in here, which was interesting to me. I would have to say, yeah, this was the most interesting and surprising factor to these measurements and the data collected. Just because it proves that you can still get an accurate measurement and they can still match up with each other, but it'll be, you're at different locations, so it can vary some. As for the humidity, this one was a little bit confusing to me, but still got it. And I had to make sense that this was not one day within it down here. But to my understanding, this is just their measurements, because we did not take humidity measurements, and these are showing over here is the National Weather Station. So that was just interesting to look at for me. I would say one thing I could take out of this is definitely next time being more consistent with my measurements would be a big thing. And I guess doing it over more periods of time would be interesting, because I know the last time we did this, the weather was pretty mellow, at least in my area. So there wasn't like huge drastic changes to the data that I was collecting, and all the temperatures that I was writing down. There was some change for sure, as you can see here in the graph. And the temperatures, it actually came down to a little below 5 degrees. Didn't reach below 0, so it stayed pretty warm. And then here it got up to 29, 30 degrees. So I think it would just be more interesting to, measure here and there so we can get a real drastic change. Maybe it'll be coming here with the weather getting warmer. So I'm interested to see what is to come. I am looking forward to see what all of you guys find. Thanks for watching.